Well, Corey, just your thoughts on getting Allie the opportunity to be in the Olympic trials, what that means for her and for your program too.
Yeah, I think it speaks volumes of the type of athlete she is and where she's at in her progression. It's a chance to go and gain some valuable experience. As she kind of moves along, and we took things slow after getting hurt indoors, and she started around in a pretty good form. So, but it's about the experience and getting some. Being able to just go there and go through the process.
Was this something that was always in the back of your guys' mind that you wanted to have her have this opportunity? And obviously, maybe the indoor injury put a little bit of a wrench in it. But was this something that was kind of in the back of your mind at least?
Yeah, I think once we kind of got going after cross country, we knew she was capable of some special things this spring. I felt like she could probably run with anybody, in this country, given top form, and obviously that didn't kind of come to fruition. But I think I think she's in a good place. I think she's going into it with a good frame of mind, and I think you want to walk away from it feeling good about what you accomplished, and the ultimate goal is when she's a fifth-year senior 4 years from now, we're talking about what team she's going to try and make. So that starts at this trials, and I think you get that experience, and it kind of changes who you are and what you think is possible.
With with her, the injury, obviously having to keep her out of the outdoor season. What was that like for her? Just to kind of have to sit it out. Not certainly for someone who's that caliber, that's probably pretty difficult.
Yeah, I said it after the NCAA cross country meet. Her not winning that title might have been one of the best things for her, just because once you win that cross country title, you're put on a different plane. And I think for her having to sit out, it was really hard on her, and I think it's helped us re-examine some things that we need to do in training with her, and I think that's going to, in the long run, it's kind of cliche. People say it all the time, so it's going to end up being a good thing. But I don't think it's never a good thing when you're hurt. But I think for her, having to sit out, I think she's grown a little bit, matured a little bit, and I think her perspective on it has changed a little bit. So I think that in the end, I think it's going to be kind of a good thing. But still wasn't easy for her. She just loves to run, and I think at the end of the day, I think when you take that away from somebody, it's really hard on them.
For her to go to Hayward Field and run with these athletes, and what will simply being in that environment help do for her and her career moving forward?
Yeah, I think the Olympic trials is unlike any other event. We go to a lot of meets at Hayward Field, NCAA meets there. But this is different. It's an event. They do a really good job of putting it on, and when you show up to the track the day you run, it's got a different feel to it. There's people put their lives on hold for 4 years to get to that moment, and I think for her, I think it'll be a little different because she's so young. I don't think she'll think that deeply into it, but I think just going through that process, knowing what to expect the next time around, that can just make you more comfortable in that situation. So I think it's going to be important for her to get through the process and just having done it. And I think sometimes once you run the Olympic trials, I think your perspective changes on, I really want to do this. I want to be really, really good. And I think she does already, but I think this just it concretes it a little bit harder into what is possible.
In terms of her comeback, she says that her injury is gone. She talked about her fitness levels wanting to be at a certain point. Is there a way that you guys gauge those? And if so, like where is that? Where is she in terms of fitness levels?
There's no exact science, especially with her coming back from the injury. We've been pretty careful about what we've been able to do. We haven't done anything on the track that I can really quantify and say you're ready to do this, which makes it difficult. But Allie's one of those athletes, and I've had them before, that she's always going to compete a couple levels higher than what her fitness is. So I'm not too worried about that. That's. We talk a lot about not worrying about the end result, just get through the process. But I think for her, it's not a concern. She's a competitor. She likes to compete. She's gonna, if you've watched her run at all, she lays it on the line. She's gonna give you all she has. So she's worried about that. I think us as coaches were less worried about that. But that it speaks volumes of who she is as a person. She's a pretty modest kid. She's not for what she's accomplished so far in her short period of time here. She could walk around thinking she's a lot more important than she is, and she doesn't. So I think she'll be all right. But it's hard to gauge. It is. Nothing's going to shock me. It's just not. I've been around her too long to know that.
It's a heck of a way to kind of throw her back into the fire. First race back from an injury is going to be against some of the best runners in our country.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that to anybody. I think it takes a special kid. You know, she even said in the office the other day, she said, well, we'll just use the first round as a warm-up. I was like, yeah, let's just use the first round as a warm-up. So, you know, that's just how she thinks. So I think that's a good thing. She's going into a little green, you know, I think. So that's good. And I think that's going to come in. Could be the best thing for us. And she goes in there and runs pretty well. And it's like, we didn't prepare that much and may get her to back off a little bit more, which we're trying to. She likes to train hard all the time. And you can't do that on a daily basis if you want to compete at this level.
Is her perspective one of the things that's kind of impressed you the most? And you mentioned about how talented she is, and you know the way that she's kind of approached things. And obviously, you can project about where she can be in a couple years, but it seems like that doesn't really enter her mind too much. And obviously, it kind of helps her in a way.
Yeah, it's a great thing and it's a bad thing. I think you see, in any sport, you see an athlete that comes out of college into the professional ranks, or comes out of the high school ranks into the college ranks, and they're ranked high, or this, that, and the other, and she's got to learn essentially to really kind of dumb it down. She needs to learn how to train, and right now she just wants to run hard all the time, and she needs to learn how to train and just take the day for what it is, take what's on the agenda for the day, get it done, and move on to the next day. And I think sometimes the best athletes in whatever sport they're competing in, that can be their Achilles heel, and I think she's got to figure that out. We're getting there. It takes some time, but yeah, I think she's got to understand that, learn that, and it's a process, and we'll get there. And I think we've recognized it early, and but yeah, it's probably the one thing that stands out is she's just a competitor, and you either have that or you don't. So that's exciting.
It seemed like she basically just had a few good last couple of training runs and decided, yeah, she'll do it. I mean, did you have any idea, I guess, before she told you, that, did you have an inkling that, yeah, she'll probably end up doing it, or no, she probably won't?
Yeah, I really wanted her to go through the emotions of deciding what to do, because I think that there's some value in that. I think she had to, in her mind, go through the emotion of, should I run, should I not run? I think about 10 days ago she was 50-50, probably leaning towards not running. And then, she started to get fit, and I think she, started to gain a little bit more confidence and kind of veered the other way. So I'm happy she kind of came through that process in her own head. And sometimes it would have been really easy for me to make the decision 2 weeks ago and say, we're not doing it. Let's move on. Let's get ready for cross country. But I think sometimes when an athlete comes to that decision on their own, there's more value there, and they're in it for the right reasons. And I think she's made a sound decision, and we'll move on from this and get ready for the fall when it's done. And I've already told her, it's like, get ready for a break after this race is over. And she's not excited about that, but we'll fight that battle when the race is over.